All right, everybody, welcome to the show. Again, we want to thank our sponsors, Power Brakes and Gerber Collision, Piggly Wiggly and Ace Hardware here in McCalla and Hueytown, Camden Piggly Wiggly, and Illusion Marine. We'll appreciate them. John is not going to be with us tonight. Him and Jessica have some work, Christmas stuff going on. So Ryan Willis, he may jump on here in a little bit. He told me he would get home from work about 7 o'clock. So I told him I would jump on here and get the show started, and hopefully he'll be able to jump on and keep me from talking to myself. I hope everybody's doing okay tonight. Hey, Scott Seals, how you doing? Y'all going to have to help me get through the show. It's always good, to have questions and everybody commenting and stuff. And just we've had some cool weather, guys. The water's cooling off. I know the fishing's been pretty good. I think we're going to get some real cool weather come here in Alabama Sunday night. Wind's supposed to get up Monday, Tuesday. I think it's supposed to get the highs in the 30s, I think, a couple of days. So that's going to cool the water off, hopefully bump the fish up on the river systems. I know the lakes, I know the fish have been schooling up pretty good. People have been catching them. I know people at Lake Talcon and Shiloh's been catching them up in Gunnersville. And I see Eric and Patrick Stone and them's been catching some fish. So, I seen Patrick Stone post a video of a school, probably 30, 40 fish. And somebody asked him, how many fish did you catch out of that? And Patrick said 7 or 8. And people don't realize, Patrick's one of the better fishermen in the country. And 7, 8 fish, here comes Ryan. 7, 8 fish out of a school like that's about normal. Hey, Ryan.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you coming on. We were just talking about, I seen Patrick Stone post a video of some schooling fish, and people don't realize you see a school of 40. If you catch 7 or 8 out of those fish, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good number.
Yeah, usually, excuse me here for a second. I'm trying to get everything set up. Now, usually, once you get them stirred up a little bit, they're gonna haul tail.
Exactly. So that's why you want to be efficient at moving and finding more schools. And people thinks, you see a school like that, you're just going to stroke them, and that ain't the case. A lot of times, you'll catch the hot fish, and hopefully you catch 7 or 8 out of the school.
On the good days, you'll catch a good many, but there's more bad days than good days.
There is, and it's so funny. I was talking to a mine boss today, and he said, "Man, I got that live scope." And I said, "I hear you." And he goes, "That thing don't make them bite." No, it doesn't. No, sir, it doesn't.
I can show you hundreds of fish every day, but getting those in the boat's a different story.
It is, man. Oh, Scott D's tuned in. I guess he's in the country. He's been doing a lot of out of the country missionary work on Scott D's and doing some good stuff, but it's getting our kind of weather. It's cooling off, and hunting season's kind of kicking in a little bit. The rut started, and the water's cooling off, and people start to catch a few more fish. And I was just talking before you came on, Ryan, how it's going to get cool this weekend, buddy. It's I think Sunday night it's going to be cool.
Yeah, me and my wife's going down to Pike County Saturday afternoon to go hunting for about a day and a half. So
yeah, it's going to be cool. I think Monday, and I think the wind's supposed to get up Sunday. We're headed to Lake Talcon tomorrow. Tommy's going to meet Tommy. I think Harold's going to go down with us. Neil's going to come meet us, and we're going to go to Talcon and run around, try to mess with some schooling fish. And I know they've been catching some down there. So I think they're biting about everywhere now, Ryan, to be honest with you.
I went down to Lay a couple of days ago. First time I'd been down there in probably 2 years, and we had a pretty good morning. I only fished for about 2.5 hours.
Right.
Just down there scouting around. We're helping Ray with a big trip tomorrow. So
okay, timber.
Well, they're still on a little bit of structure, but I think a lot of them's out there roaming already too.
I got you.
I didn't find no big schools, but they're not stacked up on structure like they was a few weeks ago. Now, I haven't been fishing a whole lot because I've been hunting.
Yeah, right.
So,
I think, what was the water temp, Ryan? I haven't been up here in 2 weeks. So.
On Lay, it was anywhere between 50 to 54, I think is the max I seen, but I was off the water by 11:30. So
that's a good temperature.
It's getting right.
It's getting right. That bunching up, and it's getting there. If you learn how to fish this time of year, you can catch a lot of fish.
In a hurry.
In a hurry. You're exactly right. I mean, I was hey Blake, how you doing? I ran into Eric a couple weeks ago. Me and Tommy and Harold went down and spoke with Eric at the ramp, where we were fishing. He's like, that son gun was done in 2 hours, he was on them, but they bit really good that morning. And then, as the day went on, they slowed way down. So but, man, you can put some fish if you get on the right amount, you get on the right fish, you can put some in there hurry. I mean, Shallow's been doing it in Gunnersville, he keeps posting those massive schools. I mean, just unreal.
Thousands of them.
Thousands.
And I've been up to Gunnersville this time of year, and I've seen them on some of those rock bluffs, in the rock ledges, and it's just, it looks like a giant school of shad. It's just unbelievable how many there is.
There's a lot, and them dadgum aggravating fish around them bridges, they do it, but they just don't bite like, the ones.
Well, it's because everybody fishes those bridges. Gunnersville is known for its bridges, and that's the one that, that's where everybody goes to fish.
True story. Israel said 53 at Miller's Ferry Tuesday with a 30-mile-an-hour. Yeah, good Lord. You don't want a north wind down at Miller's Ferry, son. It's like the ocean because that river turns north a lot. Don Gaines, appreciate you tuning in. That's a good question. Will they pull back to the brush before they start roaming on lake? I mean, they're leaving the brush now and roaming.
Yeah, they're leaving. I mean, you'll still find some fish on, some stumps or standing timber, but usually just the smaller fish, 6, 7, 8 inches, they'll stay on the brush the majority of the winter. I don't fish lay a whole lot, mostly Logan, Mitchell, Neely Henry, but usually through the wintertime, the smaller fish are on the brush. The bigger fish are out moving around.
Yeah, they don't hang out in them brush piles long. Because when I first started learning these schooling fish, I was like, where are they going? Hell, they'd leave that stump and you'd chase them. Next thing you know, there's their buddies. And you're like, oh, they're out here running.
When you aggravate them for a few minutes, they'll take off and they'll go to, the next piece of structure, whatever it is. And then they'll go from there to the next one and so forth and so on. But give it another couple of weeks and all those fish will be out there just in open water, just moving around.
That's where side scan's your friend, Scott. That's where it is. I learn to, without sounding like a smart ass, Scott, the best way to do is see them on your side scan, realize they're a little bigger than shad, put your live scope on them, say, oh, they're crappie. Then you put it in your head. That's what they look like. And it's kind of without, people's like, well, how you know they're crappie? Hell, catch the things. That's the best way to know.
Yeah.
That's not a smart ass answer, but it does sound smart ass. Don't get me wrong, but.
Well, and one good tip too, when those fish start moving around, monkey see, monkey do when it comes to a crappie. They're going to fall in line and not necessarily single file, but they're kind of spread out, but they're going to follow each other. The shad stay grouped up real tight.
Yeah, they do. Sometimes they'll make a pyramid shape more than just a blob. I mean, it's kind of, but I remember the first school I ever ran into looking on side scan. I was like, man, is that what I think it is? And then I had fished Florida. And then when I came to Miller's Ferry, I was like, hold on just a second. They're schooling here? And me and Tommy ran into them one New Year's Eve. And, but I mean, putting it point blank, Ryan will tell you, take that side scan, put it on 85 where you can see, and you see one, take that cursor, zoom over there and blend on them. Say, hey, man, them look a little round. They look a little bigger than gizzard shad. Let's drop your trolling motor, go find them. Hey, them was crappie. Start marking them. And you'll notice that there'll be areas for that day. It does change. It may be the inside of a point, the inside of a river bend. They'll just make big old circles right there. Just big quarter-mile little circles. They'll go up and down. Up. It's crazy. And they'll move locations the next day, depending on the wind, depending on the bait. There's really no formula, and Ryan will tell you too. He'll have an idea what he's going to do that morning, but it's liable to change the first 30 minutes. It's crazy.
And it might change 10 times throughout the day.
100% right. So don't be stuck on one pattern. You might say, hell, these fish are shallow. I mean, you never know. I mean, you really don't.
I kind of got last year, I kind of got my butt kicked a little bit. I'm not from Alabama. I've only been down here since, I've been down here 20 years, but I've only been in this area since 2012. Right. I had never seen the water temperature on the Coosa River in the 30s. I personally haven't seen it. But last year, I kind of got my butt kicked. I'm out here looking for these schooling fish. They were way shallow. they
Oh
might
yeah,
have been in 5 foot of water and suspended 2 or 3 foot deep. And that
yeah,
school was
right.
just been,
What? No, yeah, stunning. Yeah,
yeah, strung out forever. And I finally just found some by accident one day, kind of running over a point. And after that, it was on. But I got
yeah.
my butt
It's
kicked for
crazy. It is
yeah,
crazy. The only good thing about the cooling water temperature, it takes a few gears away from them. They don't run in high gear. That water is in the 50s and 60s when they first they'll be in high gear, but
yeah.
it gets to the 50s and upper 40s, they'll start slowing down a little bit. But it's I don't know. It's just you can listen to shows like ourselves, and you can listen to any different kind of pod. You have to put time on the water and see this stuff for your own self. Go with somebody, go with a guide, and you're like, okay, this is what I need to look for because it happens on every body of water, river systems. It happens everywhere. Up north, up south, Florida, it doesn't matter. Jeff Mason's on Kentucky Lake. They got a lot of whitefish, but there's still some schooling blackfish somewhere on that lake. I promise you. So,
Hey, experience trumps everything.
100%. It really does. Because you got plan A, B, C, D. You got. Just like when I go to Talcon, I know Neil went today, so I know the fish hadn't moved too far from 2 weeks ago. But I also know that there's certain points that they're going to try to bunch up on, and I'm going to go check them, whether they be there or not. But if they're there, you can line them up pretty quick. But you kind of know, just like hunting and all that stuff, that time of year, where the deer are going to go to, the same way with these fish. You can put a pattern together and know where they're supposed to be, and sometimes they're not. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. You got some docks at Logan Martin that'll here at Christmas, it's unreal.
Yep.
I mean, I remember, the best dock I ever fished is not too far from you and I fish, and they tore it down, and it was unbelievable. I mean, I've never seen fish coming to school on my side scan years ago. You just go by your side scan going to that dock. I'm talking about 100 fish going. You're like, what in the world?
Uh-huh.
It's crazy.
There's a handful of docks on Logan that will hold fish year round. But, by this time of year, any dock that's 12, 15 foot of water that's close to deeper water is going to hold fish.
There you go.
Especially near the mouth of the creeks and
you can see that on Navionics. You can see it on your map. You can look and say, hey, man, there's 20 foot of water, 25 foot right there, a casting distance from that dock. So that's Chris Zell was one of his big fish is still leading, guys. The big fish contest still going, guys. The rod giveaway till next Thursday. So he's got a 2 pound, 6 ounce, a 2-3 or whatever that is, crappie. So he's leading it. I meant to reply to him, but
man, I was down there. I was down there at Lay Tuesday, and when you see a big fish on live scope, you know it. And yeah. I had one hooked, and the big one always gets away. And I never did see this fish, but it would have been one of the biggest fish I caught in Alabama, and it come off before it ever got to the boat. But
man,
when the guy I was with seen me get excited, he knew it was a big one.
Hey, well, what's bad is like reeling in a garbage sack. People don't realize you'll lean back and that thing's just shaking his head, and it feels like a garbage sack. I mean, really, you're like, oh,
yeah.
And hoping that hook holds, and most of the time you've got them hooked right here, and that hook's tearing. It ain't in the roof of their mouth like you want it to be. It's I lost some big ones. Let me tell you where I lost some big ones, and it's my mistake. I'll have the nose in the wind, Ryan, and I'll set the hook, and I'm bad about letting off that trolling motor and letting the boat blow back.
Yep.
Just put extra pressure on the fish, and I'm just like, man, push the damn trolling motor.
But you also got to keep in mind too, going the other way, you got to reel faster because you don't want to give them slack.
Exactly. So I'm bad about that, guys. As much as I get to do this stuff, I'll set the hook on a big fish, and I'll let off the trolling motor so the boat's blowing backwards, and I'm fighting the fish. It's the parachute effect, and that big fish is got a lot of drag on that water. And I've done it several times at Miller's Ferry. Now I try to actually bump towards the fish a little bit and use my head, but I get excited like a little kid. And I've lost a lot of big fish doing that. I got my line broke a lot too. It's one of them bad habits. I really never said anything like that on the show, but I've done it a ton more than I want to talk about.
Yep.
It's just there's little stuff that you learn and tidbits you naturally want to get off the trolling motor because you don't want your line to get in it, but then you don't realize, you letting that thing just, drag back 10 feet, and you're trying to get that fish in. If he's not hooked very well, you're throwing 4-pound line too, or 6-pound line. It's that's exactly right, Rod. Scott's saying that rod just stops. You just boom.
Yep.
It's not a bass. You can feel that old head.
Well, when I pulled up to this piece of timber, there was 5 or 6 of them lined up, and I knew they were all good fish, but this one in particular. And as soon as I dropped down on him, he inhaled that jig, and
no.
I got him up about 15 foot, and he just come unbuttoned. That's all there was to it.
Then you get to see that big old pie plate.
Yeah, and he came up. It just inhaled it, and none of them other fish. They wouldn't even bite, so wouldn't even look at it. Made me sick because I knew, and I hate to say this because but a 2-pound fish, we've caught enough of them nowadays. You really don't get too excited about it unless you're fishing a tournament or something. But
yes,
when you start getting north of that 250, and I know that fish was every bit of that.
Oh yeah,
it made me sick.
Well, I guess especially in Florida, you catch a fish that's 220, 230, they pull so dang hard, man.
I'm not going to call him out, but the guy that was with me that day is sending me text messages about it now. So evidently he's watching.
Hey man, I've done it. I've got, like I said, I have a bad habit of getting off that trolling motor with that wind blowing, setting the hook on the fish and letting the boat blow back, putting extra pressure on. I've done it. And that's one habit I've tried to really break that I do. I try to tell people that I'm teaching the live scope, hey, don't click your bell too fast, make your bait swing, don't stop reeling. And I'm bad about, letting off the trolling motor when I stick the fish. And so you can't do that with the big ones. You cannot. And it's kind of like deep sea fish for marlin or something, the way they back the boat up to them. It's the same scenario, just a lot bigger fish. But, that's a lot of pressure with that wind and that boat and you trying to reel the fish in. But like you said, it's exact opposite. If you're going, the wind blows and he takes a left and the boat, you got to catch up to try to keep the slack out. Like Ryan was saying earlier, it's Blake's talking about here. Will you eat a 2-pound fish? I have ate plenty of them, Blake. I try not to. If it's up to the person I carry fishing, to be honest with you, Blake. If he likes it, I'm not going to make the man throw the fish back. But most of the time, if we've got a box full of 12, 13 inches or 10 inches, they'll let that big fish go.
I had a guy a couple weeks ago catch a 2+ hybrid, and he didn't let it go. But there again, it's it's their preference. But
100%.
I had a kid on my boat back in May, and he caught a 273 hybrid, and they let it.
Yeah, the thing about it, I've heard biologists, and I want to get a biologist on here bad. They tell me that once a fish gets that big, their drive to reproduce is so less than a 12, 13-inch fish that they don't lay near all their eggs like these younger fish do. I don't know if all that's true. I've just heard different scenarios of it, and they're like, you might as well eat that 2-pound fish if you want to. But to me, it's just like a deer. That's a 3-year-old 10-point. If I want him to be bigger, he has no chance if he's dead. So, it's one of them. But I don't down anybody for keeping 2-pound fish.
You have the conservation side of it, but me personally, I'd rather eat a 9, 10, 11-inch fish anyway.
100%.
When you start getting the fish that big, the wear and tear on your fillet knife because the bones are bigger. The meat is so much thicker; it's harder to cook. So I just don't care to eat them anyway. I just soon let them go.
Well, I fed 50 people last Friday at a Mississippi line. We had an outage going on, and you don't realize, like, you get them fillets that thick, you got to cook them 4.5 minutes, or cut them in half with a knife.
Yeah.
Then, like you said, like Chad Gillen's saying, 10, 12 inches, they all fry the same. You can get consistent. It depends. I don't know. It's one of them things. I'm not going to knock anybody. It's like crossbow hunting and bow hunting. Hey, man, you like it, I like it. Whatever gets you in the water and you like to catch 2-pound fish. I've carried certain people, buddy. If it's a keeper, it's going in that live well.
No question about it.
Yeah, you're just like, hey, I know. So what's Crappie Hound asking here? whenever I hook a fish, should I be hitting spotlight? My boat tends to go towards the pile or the school when I'm pulling the fish in. It depends on how those things do. Some of those spot locks ramp up and make a big lunge forward to try to get to that spot. The perfect case scenario is to run the trolling motor down to 1 or 2 and just barely stay on it while you're working. Then I normally spot lock mine when I'm taking the fish off, because you don't want to. I don't know how Ryan does his, but
it depends on the situation. I generally don't myself. You never know which way that boat's going to move. You don't know which way that fish is going to move. So I don't like doing that myself. I'd rather just kind of, drift off, especially if I'm on a school or some piece of structure. I just kind of let the boat go away from it and fight the fish, do it that way. But to each his own, everybody's got something different or a way they prefer.
That's right. What I'm doing, if I'm fishing with somebody and I hook a fish, I'm running that trolling motor trying to get Ryan on that fish. Hey, Ryan, throw right here. I'm reeling in the fish and I'm still looking, and especially, but like when you're by yourself, you don't have that, you don't have that opportunity. You just, to me, I don't want the trolling motor to get my line, getting the trolling motor. So it's kind of depends on the speed of the wind. There's so many scenarios right there.
And instinctively, and I would say 95% of the time, instinctively, when I'm fishing and when I hook a fish, I'm taking 2 steps back and getting away from the trolling motor. I don't like fishing sitting down anyway, so it's easy for me to move back. But I try to get away from it, and get down the side of the boat anyway. So
I caught a stripe with Neil the other day, probably 6 pounds, 7 pounds, I don't know. And that sucker was peeling line like a damn burn, and I just let the boat turn sideways, and I knew I had his ass. I mean, he just, I had plenty of line, and it's just one of those things. And just like Ryan was saying, experience, just gonna, you're going to develop a pattern, crappie hound, and you're going to get used to that. And you're going to get successful, and that's you'll have your technique that you do when you land fish. I mean, you don't want to blow them off, like Ryan said. You don't want to run through them. You're not going to blow that far off unless the wind's just unbelievably howling. Then probably ain't got no business out there anyway. So let's see what Crappie Crane's asking. This is a great question. How is a morning bite pattern versus a midday pattern different? I always do better at midday for some reason. I know the reason why I do better in the midday. What do you think about that, Ryan?
Well, from my experience, low light situations, first thing in the morning, first couple hours in the morning, last couple hours in the evening is always better. But there's times of the year, especially now that the water is getting colder, it doesn't matter. You can catch them all day long.
100%.
Now, in the summertime, that is very critical. But usually I would say, depending on the year, November till May, it does not matter. You can catch them all the time, all 24 hours a day if you want to.
I noticed, the Florida fish, I will tell you this, they must get drunk at night because they really don't get fired up till, 10 o'clock in the morning. It's weird. I mean, sometimes you can find areas that they will bite at daylight. Don't get me wrong. But I'm telling you, you'll go over an area, Ryan, that you've been fishing and 10 o'clock hit. Because the reason why I say that, I'll run into old timers long line and they're trolling and pulling whatever. And they'll be like, well, we finna take it in. We caught 5 or 6. I'm like, hell, man, they just fixing to bite, it's 10 o'clock. And it's just one of the.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is too, and we've all seen it for the schools. You can get into a school of fish here, whether it's open water or structure or whatever, and there may be 200 fish there and you catch 2. And you move 100 yards over here and you may catch all 200 of them. You're being a little bit sarcastic there, but I think a lot of it, depends on the school too and whether they're actually feeding or not.
Every school has a different personality. You're 100% right. It is, you'll throw in one school where they're just racing. They're 2 or 3 deep trying to get that bait. You're like, oh shit, we finna catch something. Excuse my language. I mean, that's what you're just like, hey, we're fixing to do something here. But it just changes. There's no written. That's a good thing about crappie fishing. There's suggestions, excuse me, and that's about it. I mean, there's no written in stone, nothing. I mean, like Ryan's saying, it could change, as long as the weather and the barometric pressure and all that good stuff, stuff like that. But I've caught them more, on river systems in the current because they pull in water and, But to me, the Florida fish and crappie cranes over there too, they like the sun. They really like the sun. The sun does a lot for those fish. How high they are in the water column, how active they are. They don't like that cloudy mess down there. I will tell you that. That's
No, it's amazing how, and I know the Florida lakes you're talking about, Seminole and the other one down there.
yeah,
They're not that far away, but it's amazing how much different those systems are.
yes, yes, and they're both river-fed lakes, and Talcon and well, just Eufaula. I mean, this is Eufaula and Seminole. That's the same
Yep.
river, and
And what's crazy to me too is you take Weiss, Neely, Lay. To me, they fish completely different than Logan, Mitchell, Jordan.
yeah,
Same
right.
river system, and you got 3 lakes that are over here and 3 that are over here, and completely different.
Yeah, it's in the Warrior River in Demopolis. You would get in some of those sloughs and think they'd be schooling like crazy, but they just don't. It's weird.
Yep.
The main river, they'll get in schools, but it's just it's a different thing. Sonny's asking how long before they school. They're schooling open water right now, but this is the time of year, Sonny. They're doing it. You just got to
It
find.
can happen any day.
They're doing it. It's happening. Their hormones are going. The shad are out there. It's happening. I mean, from now, like Ryan said, till March, it's happening. Oh, Daryl Moore. Hey guys, Texas. Man, they catching some big ones out in Texas right now. I know Tommy Ezel's caught some giants, and somebody just caught a late record out there. Was that old Jordan?
Yeah, I don't know what lake it was, and I can't remember the guy's name, but I ran across it, and that was a giant fish.
I know. Somebody said 330. I don't know if the exact number, but it was a big fish. Big fish. Some of those lakes, you got to keep everything you catch, the first 25 fish you catch in Texas. It's crazy. I don't know the exact rules. Don't quote me on it, but I know like the first 25, your limit. I don't care if it's this long. You're supposed to keep them. I mean, I don't know how it works. I guess catching them so deep. I need to ask somebody, but I don't go out there enough to see what Chris is saying here. On Wheeler in winter and early spring, you can catch fish in very shallow water. I spied a rig for 18 foot to 5 foot now with live scope fishing the same stumps and trees. That's exactly right. There's a place, like you said, you find those places. They don't ever leave it. I mean, that's just like Brian was saying. You can pretty much write it in a book and know if the weather conditions are the same in the time of year, they're going to be there. I mean, like Lake Talcon, there's an area I know they're going to be there. I mean, I just know they're going to be there in December. There's just no ifs and buts about it. I mean, they're going to be there. Now, whether they bite, it's totally up to them. But it's just crazy the personalities of them.
When you think you get it figured out, you'll be humbled and you'll learn something
You'll
completely blow your mind.
I went in February down there, Ryan, and I seen so many fish. I think we caught 18. And I said, man, I got my ass kicked. I'm talking about because 18 out of a couple thousand. Now let's keep it real. I got my rear end kicked and changed some baits the next day, and it changed a lot. We caught a lot of fish the next day, but whether it was the bait, the color, or whether it was the fish's demeanor, I don't know. But it's a learning process, guys. Don't take anything for granted. Make a mental note, written note, whatever you got to do. Say, hey, man, December, whatever, I was on fish. I was using this bait. They were right here in this bend. They were right here on this standing timber. And write it down because next year it's going to, history will repeat itself.
I used to do that a lot. I used to write that kind of stuff down, and I stuck with it probably a year. Then, I got lazy, I guess, and just quit doing it. But
the good thing about Facebook memories, guys, I'll pop on there.
Yeah.
And I can look and go, oh, I know where I caught that, or where those come from. I mean, That is a good thing. And mentally, as I get older, probably won't be able to remember it. But if I see a picture, and John and I'll be talking, hey man, didn't you catch? Yeah, I sure did. It's just it's always good to make a mental note of it because they're going to do it again. I mean, and that's the cool thing about it. Ryan can call me and say, I'm going down here. Well, let me tell you what I did last year. And he called me, hey, they're here. Cool. You know, that's, you know, you can pretty much not, it's not written in stone, but it's the pattern takes place, you know. You know, if you're in a lake where they're dropping the water, you know, they're going to stabilize once the water gets to where it's going to. I mean, they didn't drop Logan Martin that much, did they, this year, did they?
Only a couple feet. You know, it used to be 5 feet. Now I think it's only 3, but it's already at the level it's going to be at. So
that's good.
460.
It may help you in the spring because I know sometimes all that good spawning stuff.
Well, it does. It tremendously helps in the spring because, especially on the, you know, people who love to fish docks, you got an extra 2 foot of water in these docks now, and you know, more docks will hold fish.
Yeah, they used to pull it down big time. You know, it'd be May before it come up. You know.
Yeah, it's definitely helped a lot. I've noticed I think this is the 3rd year now that they've done it, but I've noticed a big difference in the springtime.
Yeah, that's good though. I mean, they need to let them fish spawn. I mean, if they're not working on docks, they can do it every so many years. I mean, I get it.
I don't remember for sure, but it's every 5 or every 7 years they're going to pull it back down to normal level for people to do maintenance. But you know, that's typical on all these power generating lakes. So,
oh yeah, here's Zechariah. It's I don't know. It's just there's so many factors. You know, just like Crappie Crane's talking about there. Greg's talking about, you know, water temps, date, the depth of the fish, and pictures and reminder. I ran into a guy in Florida and he was trolling. He said, hey man, I don't have a live scope. He said, if you was going to troll, he said, how deep was you? I said, I put my 10 or 12 foot deep. And that's where 99% of our fish come from. He called me and they caught like 20 something fish that evening. He said, man, that's where they were. I said, well, that's where a majority of our fish came from, where they were, you know, up, down, left, right. They were there. And, you know, if I was going to troll, I told him, I said, hey, that's where I put my baits. And that's liable to change this weekend. Who knows? It'll all be deeper. But like Ryan was saying earlier, there's those wolf packs, those 2 and 3 big fish, they may be deeper. They may be in the channel. They may not be near those big schools. But those schools of 10 or 13 inch fish, they're bunched up. They'll be in the same places. Crappie don't have banker hours. You're right about that. You're right. It's fun, man. It's always a puzzle, guys, and people don't realize that. And bass fishing the same way, I know, but crappie fishing is big time a puzzle. When you get in there, it's breaking down the water, seeing where the fish are, having a backup plan. You know, just you go to your A area, you go to your area A, and you're, they ain't here yet, or they've moved, or the bait's not here, or you know, the wind's blowing a different direction. You got to have those next steps to go to. You know, hey, where am I going to? I mean, Ryan does that when he goes, especially when you're guiding guys. You've got to have some, you know, some feedback from somebody you know, like Ryan telling me, hey, I caught some fish here if you're going there, or, you know, something to go off of. Try to get as much, you know, intel you can, or even if it's your own intel. And then, you know, tell them, hey, man, we was having a dead stick debate. Hey, we were having this real fast. Hey, you know, and there's a lot of different techniques to use, and it may help you that day. I've been on days out there you couldn't outrun them. You just reel as fast as you could. I mean, it's crazy.
Ray Morris.
Yeah, Ray does. Ray does it a lot. Ray does. Ray's he's a worm burner, but he catches a lot of fish. So, I mean, it's one of those things. So you fishing this weekend with Ray or tomorrow?
Tomorrow we have a big, I think it's 14 person trip, and I think there's seven or 8 of us guide boats going down there to help out.
Awesome. Down
at Lay, yeah.
That's cool. That's good. That's serious. My God.
There's a bunch of them.
Y'all post all them pictures. Y'all have a game warden, Facebook game wardens on y'all. I swear, dude. It's
you know how it is, Shane. You post enough pictures, it doesn't matter what you post.
Hilarious.
There's always going to be somebody.
It's so funny. We were riding. I had 1,000 pounds of corn in my boat on my buddy. We were going up the Sibsey on my buddy's lease. We're putting it out for deer. and it's in my boat. I posted it on TikTok. People's like, man, them ducks are going. People think I'm duck hunting over this stuff and posting on TikTok. I'm like, oh man, I don't know, but hey, I just let them go with it. You know, they love it. You know, it's funny, but like you said, hey, it's fun, man, to watch the comments come. Let's see what Crappie Crane's saying here. Oh goodness. The only thing guaranteed for crappie is they'll be gone on tournament day after you found. No kidding. That is 100% correct. Oh, that's a true statement. That is a true statement. And what Chad's saying right there, history can burn you sometimes too. That's exactly right. You'll get so caught up on, you know, where they should be, and you got confidence, and you're not keeping an open mind to use your side scan. I do it all the time, Ryan. I got a 15-inch hummingbird, and sometimes I'm dumb and forget I got one.
But, you know, the weather plays so much into it, too. Just because they're here October 1st one year doesn't mean they're going to be there the next year. It may be November 1st before they're there. So, I mean, the weather plays a pattern or a big part of it. So.
This past summer, it stayed so cool.
Yeah.
Remember? I mean, it stayed so cool, guys, up until, heck, it was June before it really warmed up. Well, I think, if I ain't mistaken.
Yeah, but when it got hot, it was like that.
Yeah. No kidding. That's exactly right. Do you keep all these fish and face on at the devil? Spotlighting. Yes. Hey, I get so many do you know what the comment? My favorite one. You're not going to leave any fish for my kids or your kids' kids.
Yeah.
And I'm like, buddy, you think? Let's get real, guys. The percentage of guys that really use live scope to its maximum potential is so low. You don't understand. Like, I'm still learning, and I've been at it 5 years. I'm still learning. It's so low that, you know, for me to post a 2-man limit of 60 fish doesn't happen a lot. I mean, I'll be honest with you, and there's got to be a bunch of people doing it, and there's not, man. You're not. I'm telling you, the fish that you go over and the fish that you catch. You know, if I was concerned about that, you know, I would be like, hey, we need to keep, you know, but believe me, I'm not even hurting them at all. So,
you know, there's a reason the limits are the way they are. Crappie reproduce so fast. And, you know, I was listening to a biologist on one of them other crappie shows, I think, you know, several months back, 6 or 8 months ago. But, you know, you have a good spawn and bad spawn. You may have 2 good spawns in a row. You may have 4 or 5 bad spawns in a row. But you're going to catch, you get into a certain age limit of fish, whether it's, you know, just a year old or a 2-year-old. But if you have a good spawn, that fish is going to dominate. That class of fish is going to dominate for 2 or 3 years. And that's primarily what you're going to catch until that cycle catches up. You never can tell. I mean, they're the way they are for a reason.
They're prolific spawners. They're prolific.
Yeah. I mean,
they are really. People don't understand river systems and a lot of lakes, even like Logan Martin. You go by a couple of them docks, and you're like, what? When there's 2,000 fish under one of them docks, and you're just like, you know, you're going by like, gosh, and same way in Florida, Seminole. You start seeing these schools of 200 and 300, and you see 20, 30 of them a day.
Yeah.
You know, and they're good fish, and you're just like, and hey, you struggle to catch 50 is a lot of fish, but if I fight and, you know, and go through all these schools to keep 50 a boat limit, you don't realize how many fish that I went over. I mean, you have a bunch, you know. I've thrown at a bunch of fish, and there's days that they do bite better. Don't get me wrong, but there's days that we throw at a lot of fish.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're just like, if you could really go live and show all day, if somebody was patient enough to watch you do that, they don't realize, like, man, it's taking him, you know, it doesn't, it's those limits in 2 or 3 hours are very rare. I mean, for me, just depends on the body.
You know, there's ways and there's certain times of the year that you can do it. And I don't want to get into, you know, telling people secrets by no means, but a picture is a picture. But there's ways and there's times that you can get on a bunch of fish in a hurry.
That's 100% right. That's exactly right. I've been on the stumps, and you know what's crazy? The colder, the better. If I go to the Warrior River in the Maupus, if it is butt cold, 15, 16 degrees, a couple years ago, old Ray, I'm trying to think of his last name. He always comes to our stuff. I posted on Facebook, if anybody's dumb enough to meet me in Demopolis, it's going to be 16 degrees. I'm going to catch 100 fish. I called it out like Babe Ruth. I told him, I said, I know. I mean, because the water temperature was right, the river level was right, and guess what? We caught like 130, 40 fish that day.
Uh-huh.
Gave away 60, but I knew it's just one of those, but it's always in the cold. That's the only way I can really call my shot.
Yeah.
But hey, like Ryan said, I'm a conservationist. I love crappie as much as anybody. If I thought that I was hurting the population, I promise you I would cut it back. I promise you I would. And I'm not hurting them, believe me. I'm not even scratching them. And, you know, we're blessed to be able to spend as much time as we do on the water to get proficient and get. So, you know, it's not saying you're in a. I bet it's so less than 1%. It's unreal that maximizes potential. I'm telling you, there's no telling. It's like 0.00 something.
Mm-hmm.
The people that really just, you know, go out there and put the fish, push it just in and out. You know, depends on where they fish too. But it's a process, man. And you know, that's kind of things that don't get talked about on these shows. Believe me, we love crappie fishing. I don't want nothing to happen to them. I try to take care of I promise you, I get all kinds of hate mail and comments, and I just kind of giggle about it. And, you know, cussing, I've been cussed more than you can imagine. Just, you know, it's kind of funny. I'm like, okay, buddy, you know.
It's fun to rage bait or, you know, poke the bear, whatever you want to call it. It's fun to just ag it on a little bit, just to get them riled up even worse.
Well, I'm a smart ass. Don't get me wrong. I grew up in a steel mill. I mean, I you know, it's always the same guy that's got a 1983 profile picture. He's got 11, 12 friends. You know, he's got one guy had 20 brim in a profile picture. And I said, well, you know what, man, just come on and get in the boat with me. And I promise you we'll catch 20 brim. He took offense to that. He was cussing me out then, you know. I was like, man, I'm saying it's real. Come on, you know, let me introduce you to my world. And you know, before you form an opinion about somebody, you know, you always heard that stuff about people. You know, I made a comment, I made a post before. If you see me on a lake, guys, guy trip or not, you can come say hey to me at the launch. I don't care. I promise you, we're just like this on this show. Ryan's just like he is there, and I'm just like sitting in this chair. Well, I'll talk crappie fishing until you get blue in the face. You know, if you want to see what I'm using, just grab one of them rods. Just tie it on there. I mean, yeah. It's not no top secret stuff. But I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I meet a lot of nice people. You know, I met Ryan through fishing. I met John through fishing. I mean, there's just everybody that's on the show tonight. I mean, that little old silly fish that we're not going to catch out of, I promise you.
It's brought a lot of people together.
It has. A lot of good people, too, you know. It's just something, you know, something to look forward to. There's very few things in this world that you can look forward to as much as crappie fishing if you know you got a chance to catch some. And if you got somebody new going with you, and like those guys I'm carrying this weekend, they're so fired up, it's unreal, you know, and that fires me up. You know, they're fired up and they're older gentlemen, and I'm fired up, you know. They're like, hey, I said, I usually don't go to Florida unless I can book 2 days. And the guy said, well, I'm getting tomorrow too. I said, I guess I'm going to Florida. It was that quick, you know. And they're fired up, and then all my buddies get to meet me, Neil and Tommy, and everybody gets to come down, and you know, we all kind of. It's funny. It's kind of like hunting. We'll be texting. Hey, you on fish? You know, you seen any? You know, yeah. We kind of move around, but yeah, I believe that too. That is a true statement. Before fishing Shona has changed the fishing behavior already. I've seen them get spooky and scattered when the beam hits them. They adapt from it. I believe that too. I believe a big fish really does. I've noticed, I've even heard Shiloh say this before. If he sees a big fish, Ryan, he'll take, till he gets up casting distance, he don't even put that thing on him.
Yep.
Till he makes a cast. I believe that they're bigger scales, bigger eyes, bigger lines on them. I noticed in Florida, crappie crane, that those trollers that keep going over those schools and that boat just slapping. They're running 3 mile an hour trying to troll. They're pushing them fish down. And 18 foot, and I'm sitting there whipping on them behind them. You know, it takes a minute. Then they'll realize them boats ain't there. They'll come back up. But I do believe it has too.
And you know, Grenada is a perfect example of that. You know,
yeah.
you listen to some of the people that fish over there a lot. You know, Eric Cagle, Patrick Stone, you know, Carlos Willis, all those guys over there, Trent Goss.
Yes.
Just listen to them talking the stories, the boat slap, the sonar, and how those fish have adapted. And I've been over there before and just got my tail kicked because I can't even keep up with fish. You get anywhere near them, and once they see you're there, they're gone.
I got some lessons going with Eric. This when Kobe bought that trip this year, and I went to him, he showed me a lot that I didn't know. You know, it's a whole different animal over there. It's a whole different animal. And you know, same way Florida is, and these lakes, it's a whole different animal. What's cool though about that situation, if you can fish Seminole, and you can fish Eufaula, you can fish Talcott, you can fish all those lakes about the same. Their behavior is a lot alike, you know. So, you know, but like when he's talking about Logan Martin and Mitchell and Lay, them three can be like no kin whatsoever.
Yep.
You know,
and really the difference to me is just the layout of the lake. You know, Weiss, Neely Henry, Lay, they're more shallow. They have a lot of creeks. They have a lot of big open flats. Jordan, Mitchell, Logan, steep banks, not a lot of creeks. You know, just geography is totally different.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, look at Guntersville, man.
Yeah,
like you said, those big old rock bluffs with those, you know, you're just like, and those fish tend to be a little deeper. But I think you're dealing with a little bit smarter fish. I really do, because of it.
And I used to tell everybody all the time that Mitchell was my favorite crappie lake.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is anymore. I've got to the point where I like Neely Henry. In Neely, you can get a little bit of everything. You can, there's creeks, there's flats, there's all kinds of
it really does break down to different, like I said, whitefish. I mean, it breaks down to a different body of water. Like you said, Logan Martin's about the same. It may be a little clearer downriver, but but I tell you, Neely Henry, I don't get to fish it enough. I need to. I know Shiloh and Tim love that thing.
Oh yeah. There's a little bit of everything there.
Right.
A lot of structure, a lot of standing timber, flats, docks, whatever you want. It's got something for everybody.
Yeah. I know Chad that follows the show. He likes that lake too. He tries to act like there ain't no fish there. He'll make a comment.
He won't come off his secrets either.
It's got a lot of big fish in it too. Hell, it's and there it is. Ain't no crappie. There it is. He says it every show. So he says it every show, and I get a laugh out of it.
Yeah, wait till January and February when he's posting those pictures of them big old fish up beside his ugly mug.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, where did them come from? Shut up, Chad. Hey, and there's some big ones up there too, 100%. Mike's asking me how much I fish Guntersville. Man, I don't go to Guntersville much. I've been there 3 times this year, Mike, to be honest with you. I need to go. I may go here before long. I just don't go up there a lot. It's a tremendous fishery. I just don't go. I don't, it's about 100 miles from my house, and I just don't drive up there a lot. I wish I lived closer to it, because it's kind of gained my respect a little bit as far as a good fishery. When Shiloh started guiding up there a bunch, and he's telling me, how many fish he was seeing, and I went up there in June. I smashed 80-something fish that day in June. I was like, what in the? I was like, okay, got my attention. Went to the creek and, smashed them pretty good. And I was like, okay. And went back and caught a few trips. So
I think Shiloh wakes up every morning and he flips a coin. What is he going to go catch, blackfish or whitefish?
Oh, yeah, he's got to figure it out. Let me tell y'all something. Shiloh is like a mad scientist when that coming, breaking him and Eric and them break down water like you ain't never. I mean, it's they know how to do it. John's the same way. They got the pattern down. I'm not as, man, I just go. There's not no method to my madness at all. And I can catch them when I find them, but I'm not like those guys that breaking down that water, and they really do good.
They're on a whole another level.
They are. I'll say that right to you. I promise you. Heck, they are. Shallows on it it's silly. I mean, the man goes catch. He'll carry a guide trip out, catch a limit, and then the guy was like, "Hey man, can I look around?" The guy's like, "Sure." And he just goes look for more fish for the next day. I mean, he posts about it all the time, and he posts his fish. But hey, that's why he stays booked up. Man, he really does. Ryan, everybody stays. But anybody wants a crappie fish that's in this little circle, they don't have any problem booking trips. I promise you that. Their personality and they catch fish. So on them things. Yeah. But yeah, that'd be a great show. Get Shiloh and John on here and let them go down that rabbit hole. Oh Lord. I'll just set up. It'd be hard for me to shut up, but I'll just sit here. But
the state championship a couple years ago, the one that was here on Logan, I was listening to Shiloh. It's kind of overheard him and somebody else talking. I was just amazed.
He's
stuff that I'd have never even thought about. And because of people like him and Eric and some of these other guys, I think a lot more about stuff that I never would have dreamed up before. But
Eric started the casting game, and then Shiloh come from Illinois, came down here, and then he's like a rabbit in a briar patch. I mean, you threw him in around these fish. I mean, he broke them down. I mean, I went with him, guys, in February, and we fishing a creek, and we're throwing 60 feet. And Ryan, he's telling me to start reeling. The fish is way down here. And I'm like, fish is 3 feet from my bait. Start reeling. And this fish comes screaming. What? How the hell did he figure that out?
Yeah.
Like I'm talking about like a bass. And me, I'm catching drum 10, 15 pounds. I'm having a blast. I don't care. He's like, don't throw at that fish. Hell, I'm throwing, But I would literally, I'm telling y'all, if this is a screen, guys, that fish is down here. My bait is setting up here. And he says, all right, reel. Next thing I know, this thing comes screaming, them white fish. How'd you figure that out?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had it figured out. I mean, it was funny. And what he sees, he's young, man, and he sees a lot better on live scope. And it's we may have a breaking down show. I think that'll be a good show, Ryan.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it will be because man, they'll just not really. I mean, we got into the mapping thing one time, but we can do a series like that because that to me, that is the most useful information you can give out on these platforms. It's just.
And what's crazy about it, and I'm not taking anything away from those guys, but what's crazy about it is you can take any lake and it breaks down the same. I don't care what lake it is. I mean, you're looking for the same stuff.
100%.
Over and over and over.
That's it. They're creatures of habit. They do. There's bait and there's structure and there's presentation. It was crazy until Live Scope came out. I never knew how important presentation was. Never knew it. I learned from an older gentleman how to work a jig and twitch it, and I'd always catch more fish than the next guy, and I just really didn't realize it till you see it.
Yep.
You see how the fish reacts to that bait. Oh, crap. He knew what he was doing. He showed me the right way. Or, I'll show people when they're reeling that bait, once they get their cadence down in that school, I said, start shaking that bait. And when one of them fish picks his head up, I say, hey, just reel. Once you get his attention, once you shake hands with him, just reel. You ain't got to do nothing fancy. Just keep coming with it,
I guide and coming across as many people as I do, and I don't guide near as much as some of these other guys because I still have a regular job. But when you can see it and it's not just words anymore. They can see it on the screen, what you're talking about, and understand the difference in what they're doing and what you're doing. It's a lot easier for people to comprehend.
Yeah. Well, Matt Merlot, he lives on Lake Talcon. He fished with me twice. Guide trips. He won one of the guide trip raffles that I give away. He said, man, you know what? He said, I just want you to show me how to catch these schools. I said, hey, it's your trip. That's fine. We went on a stump. He said, hey, can you catch one of these big fish? I said, I don't know. I ended up catching one of them. And we went out there, and I literally let him and Brad sit up there. And I mean, just like Eric does. I didn't pick my rod. I just coached him. I said, all right, move your bait, twitch it, reel, stop, Told him every detail, just like I was giving directions to somebody that couldn't see. And he started popping fish, got some confidence. Guess what? He sends me pictures all the time now. He got the techniques down, and there's several of them. There's not just one certain way, but I really just coached him right through it, just like Eric or somebody would me. You know, when I went to Grenada, he coached me the same exact way. As much as I could do it, you know.
Hey, and sometimes it don't matter at all. You just get it close to them.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But more often than not, it does.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It does. It really does. It's knowing when to reel, and you know, just like John, some of them schools he'll start reeling way high above them. You're like, what's the hell? And the hell, then here comes the fish gonna crack it. And you're like, what? No. I mean, you're like, where did he come from? I'm walking across them, and he's cracking them 2 or 3 foot above them.
Yep.
It's just people do different stuff, and you can learn from everybody. I mean, I promise you. Just like you talking about Ray. Ray's burning. He's starting to put 2 or 3 fish in the boat. You're like, hey, what the hell's going on here?
I fish for a lot of people, and I know you have too, but I had never seen anybody burn a jig like that. I never will forget it, because I'm thinking, what?
He's going to make them react. He is the buzzbait crappie fisherman, no doubt. But, you know, hey, it works, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
hard for us because we have our own system, and we know what to do in different situations. Yes. But when you see somebody else have a method that's successful, you like you said, you can learn something from everybody.
Everybody, guys, everybody gets in that boat, you know.
Just because you do something different than us doesn't mean you're wrong or we're wrong. The goal is put fish in the boat.
I catch fish in 2 or 3 foot of water in August, and people's like, "How do you do that?" I said, "Oh, I just do it. I don't know."
Yep.
You know, they're like, "What?" I said, well, "Come on, I'll show you." You know, but you're exactly right.
I was telling someone the other day. It wasn't the other day. Is a couple months ago on Logan. You know, thermocline obviously is huge in the summertime, but depending on where you're at on the lake, some areas have thermocline and some don't. But I don't care if you're January or August. Right. You can catch fish in 25 foot of water or 5 foot of water. You just got to know where to look for them.
That's 100% right. You're 100% right. My camera was going off. I had to make sure it wasn't no big deal. I messed up and bought one. Hey, I didn't. But when the show's over, I'm gonna tell you about these cameras I've got, Ryan. They're crazy, but yeah, you can learn something like we were saying from everybody, guys. I promise you, it doesn't matter. Keep an open mind, and if somebody posts a lot of pictures, they're doing something right, whether it's the way you do it or not. I mean, and it works all over the country. You know, I'm going to Bull Shoals Lake in March, and the limit's 15 fish. And I said, what are we going to do the other 7.5 hours? You know what I'm saying? I'm talking a bunch of crap, just messing with people. You know, I'm going to go with Derek and some guys I hunted with in Illinois. And what was funny, this is no kidding, hang around John too much. I looked on that map while we was up there hunting. I said, I'm going to this creek right here. And he said, hell, that's where we fish. I said, that's the creek I'm going in. He kind of looked, how would you know that? Just the way it's facing. I like it, you know. He said, that's the one that I hired a guide, and that's where we went. I said, well, that's just where I'm going, you know. I mean, you know, it does rub off on you, but I need to have shallow on here. That's a good idea. Let them go down the rabbit hole. Let them break down the lake, and, you know, whether we're catching numbers or fish or the high percentage areas, that's what we'll kind of call it. That's what we'll call it. The high percentage areas to catch and crappie, not just you know, you take shallow out of, you know, tournament mode, which he's having a blast now, casting a lot more, not using the long rod as much. So we'll just get him out of it, you know, just put him in the high percentage area. I think we may do that. I'll talk to him about it. So Don Gartman, appreciate old Don tuning in. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Ryan, thank you for here and keep me for talking to myself for 30 minutes.
Well, I mean, as long as you don't answer yourself, you'll be all right.
Oh, well, I say, you know what I mean, about 400,000 times because I run out of stuff to say. So you don't have to answer me when I say that every time. People that fish with me, I say, you know what I mean, all the time. And about 2 or 3 times you answer me, you ain't got to answer me no more because I'm going to say it a million more times. But I appreciate everybody. Appreciate our sponsors. Like I said, Power Breaks, Gerber Collision, the Piggly Wigglies, Camden Piggly Wiggly and Andalusia Marine. Appreciate John, Jessica. They're a little Christmas get together thing tonight. I got my Christmas card from them. I'm gonna show everybody this. Hang on before we get off of here. I got a cool Christmas card. John and Jessica and them send the coolest Christmas cards out. I keep one on the refrigerator. I don't know if I can see that. It's got pictures of fish and deer and hawk them on it. It's pretty cool. Merry Christmas from the farmer. So
now I'm jealous because I didn't get one.
yeah, hey, I'm showing everybody. Jessica loves Christmas. She has about 8 Christmas trees. So let's see what we'll answer Ronnie's question and we'll get this show. Hey guys, if the fish aren't biting the color that you usually catch them on, will you spend some time changing color or just move to a different spot? The first thing I'll do is change colors, Jack, especially if the fish are there. Ryan's the same way, I promise you. If I know the fish are there, I'm changing colors.
Well, I hate to break your bubble, but so I'm not a color guy. Yes, muddy water, stained water, it does make a difference going to a brighter, darker color. I'm more of a profile guy.
I'll tell you what I've learned in Florida. It may not work in Southern Illinois. If the sun's out, the bait's got more flake in it. Sometimes I change to it, and I do get more bites. But you know what's crazy, Ronnie? I've got a box full of different colors, shoulders, Ryan. I got a just boxing it, and I end up throwing 3 or 4 colors, and that's it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I've got 3 or 4 colors. Every once in a while, I might get a wild hair and throw something. Right. But I've got 3 or 4 colors I pretty much stick with year round. You know, black and chartreuse. I like that cold candy from Delta Jig. It's like a greenish and a bluish green and a chartreuse tail. Monkey milk is, of course, white. You know, so I'm the same way. I'm a
profile guy too. I have a little tadpole that we got from Lemons Tackle. It's a little bitty thing. Florida. I've got a white one. I've got a chartreuse one. I've got a blue shad colored bait, and like I said, I got a black and chartreuse one. It's like an old man used to fish with all the time, Ryan. He had a white spinner bait with a big old Colorado blade on it.
Yep.
And I said, hey, man, you going to change that bait? He said, they're going to eat this thing or starve, son, and we're going home. And I'm like, you know, that's what he used to tell me. They're going to eat this bait or starve. And if I throw those couple jigs and you're throwing a different color than me and they don't want to, guess what? We're going to move areas. It's just going to be one of the days, you know. But there are, to me, the flake makes a difference in the sun, but that water down there is a different color too. So.
Yeah. Color, profile, downsizing, hair, plastic. I mean, there's so many different things you can go into.
It may change, Ronnie, the next day. And it may not make a hill of beans. You just threw it at the right fish. You don't ever know, man.
Yeah.
But hey, don't let it ruin your confidence, because if you got confidence, throw that damn bait. You got confidence in it, throw the hell out of it.
Hey, I mean, you know, you just said the word right there, confidence. It don't matter if you're shooting a bow, shooting a gun, a jig, whatever it might be in life. You having confidence in that is everything.
Yeah. Well, I shoot my bow a lot, guys. You know why I shoot my bow a lot? Because I want it to be automatic. Same way with throwing that jig. You work that bait over there and you feel good about your presentation, and the fish don't do a heck with that fish. He gonna give you the bird, go find another one. I mean, if you give it your best at that fish, don't sweat it. Go find some more. There's one of them that's gonna eat it. I promise you. I promise you. Well, let's get off here, Ryan. Appreciate y'all. We'll be back next Thursday. We're going to give a rod away next Thursday. So y'all keep sending them big fish in. Like I said, a 2 pound, 6 ounce is leading right now. I know Jody shared some information about it. It'll be on here about somebody's running a sale still on some units. I meant to click on it, but I'll find it and set it on there. But appreciate you, Ryan. Hang out after the show. I'm going to talk to you just a second, Ryan. But we'll be back next Thursday. I'm going to Talcon. Y'all stay tuned. We'll look for posts. I'm sure Ryan's fishing tomorrow. Look for posts on his page. I'm sure John's going to fish. So,
hey, John fished today. I seen his pictures.
He did. I seen him. I know where he went to. He went to Jurassic Park. My God, I've been there. It's unreal. Unreal place. Crazy. But man, good luck to y'all tomorrow. I think you're going to have a pretty day tomorrow. So
I hope so.
I'll keep it up with y'all. Good luck. I hope y'all catch a bunch of fish. Good luck to everybody, guys. It's going to be cold, you know, Sunday night, Monday. That water temperature is going to get down. So that's what we've been waiting on. So y'all stay tuned. I may go live in Florida if I find a bunch of fish. So appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all next Thursday.